Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to unpack a really fascinating document. It's about 250 years old, and some people see it as the true founding philosophy of Nepal.
The Divya Upadhyay.
The Divya Upadhyay, or Divine Council, of King Prithvi Narayan Shah. And it's crucial to say right up front, this isn't a religious text. It's a guide to statecraft, political, economic, diplomatic.
It covers everything.
It really does. And that brings us to the central paradox we're looking at. So in its modern history, Nepal has had, what, 7 constitutions?
7, yes. All trying to create some form of lasting stability.
And yet you could argue none have achieved that sort of broad, deep national trust. But this ancient text, the DU, it's still a living foundation for how the nation thinks.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And it makes you ask a fundamental question. What even is a constitution?
Right.
I mean, if you see it as the guiding philosophy of the state, the whole blueprint for foreign policy, the economy, justice, then you have to say the DU was Nepal's first constitution, long before any modern legal paper.
Okay, so let's dig into that philosophical core, because it's so different. Modern constitutions, they're built on the language of legal rights, rights for the citizen.
Mm-hmm.
But the DU is on a totally different wavelength. It's all about morality. It prescribed the fundamental duties of the ruler.
Exactly. It's a profound shift. The sources we looked at suggest that by focusing so much on rights, modern governance maybe lost something. It lost that foundation of moral duty, especially for its leaders.
So the DU wasn't just words on paper. It was meant to be put into practice. It was the soul of the nation holding leadership accountable.
That's the idea. And that moral duty shaped how it even defined the nation. I mean, listen to this vision. Nepal as a common garden of 4 castes and 36 complexions.
For the 18th century, that is a really radical vision of inclusivity.
It's revolutionary for its time. And what's so interesting is how that vision gets completely flipped on its head by a lot of today's politics. Well, instead of that common garden, you often see identity politics. Division based on caste, language, region, all for votes. The DU asked leaders to unify. The modern system sometimes seems to reward separating people.
Let's talk about foreign policy, because that's where we get maybe the most famous line from the DU.
Nepal is a yam between 2 stones.
Exactly. Such a powerful metaphor. It's this clear mandate for a very shrewd strategic balance.
It is a stunning metaphor for being caught between these 2 giant neighbors. The DU said you have to maintain equal distance, you have to leverage trade, your sovereignty depends on it.
And the argument is that this balance has been, mismanaged.
Dangerously so. Instead of balance, today you see a politics of inclination, leading too far one way or the other, often for the short-term security of the ruling elite, not the long-term national interest.
And that failure of balance must hit the economic vision, right? The DU was a blueprint for self-reliance. It explicitly warns, do not let foreign powers take root.
It does. And this, for me, raises the most difficult questions about where things are today.
I mean, the economy now runs on foreign loans, on grants, and most of all, on remittances.
On exporting youth labor. We become a nation that sends its people out instead of producing goods at home. It is the precise opposite of what the DU called for.
Which brings us to character. Because you can't have self-reliance without moral leadership. The DU states it so simply. The king is the servant of the people.
A servant. Contrast that with what we often see today leaders as a privileged class. The vote becomes a ticket to power, not a call to service.
There's that other warning in the DU that just speaks so directly to this. If the palace becomes luxurious, the country becomes poor.
It's powerful, isn't it? And luxury here isn't just about fancy furniture. In a modern context, it's about systemic corruption. It's patronage. It becomes a culture.
So when you put it all together, what does this deep dive really tell us? It suggests the crisis isn't really about the system, federalism, this article, that amendment.
No, the system's changed 7 times.
The crisis is deeper. It's a crisis of leadership's character, of its morality. The self-interest just carried over from one system to the next.
Precisely. So the core pillars of the DU philosophy are still so essential. You need a balanced foreign policy, a self-reliant economy, moral governance, national unity. It's not just some dusty old text.
It's a living challenge.
It is. And that's the final thought to leave you with. Can Nepal find its unique path by maybe reclaiming some of that original fundamental vision? Or will it keep chasing the sort of superficial glitter of modernity and lose that vision for good?